Hello and welcome to the video. It's here, it's the final round of the GXUK 2025 season. It's been a really tough year, but this weekend might be a little bit different. Not only do we have all the new parts from Precision that we installed on the kart in the last video, thanks to Tornado race engines, I also have a brand new engine. And if the dyno figures are anything to go by, it's going to put my old engine in the shade. However, this weekend holds a lot of uncertainty. For the last 2 years, I've been lucky enough to be sponsored by the amazing corporate chauffeurs, but sadly, they are stepping away from their motorsport sponsorship for 2026, which leaves me sponsorless for next season, which, if I can't find some support, I'll be watching from the sidelines. But to cheer us up, we have something exciting happening. Joining us this weekend is indoor karting legend Perico Karting, who is doing, unbelievably, his first ever owner kart race. So my goal this weekend is to coach him to get him to win the novice trophy. And to give him the best shot of that, Tornado Engines have given us another brand new engine for him to use. Anyway, that's enough of me blathering. Let's get on and get to Ellough Park. We are here at Ellough Park, ready to race, karts all prepared. The weekend starts now! This person turned up at 12:15 last night. I just dozed off and then it took me an hour and a half to get back to sleep.
Surprise! I'm a bit tired now though. I wish I hadn't have done that. You make me a coffee actually, please.
You've got a bloody cheek.
You need something to do.
I want to tell you to go away and take a long walk, but actually I really want a cup of tea. So I will make tea and let's go get a porridge from McDonald's.
Alright, porridge. It will be porridge this time, yeah?
Definitely.
Psych!
So, the first start of the new Tornado engine. Yeah, let's go!
It's wet, which sucks. First time pressing the throttle in the kart with the new engine on. That moves really well! Never! Whoa! Oh, hello. There's a nice dry line around the inside here. Oh. I'm just taking it very easy. I'm just trying to figure it out. Ooh. Brakes to bed in. Engine feels lovely. It's not bogging. My old engine just used to bog and bog and bog. Ooh. Whoa, mate! Whoa. Engine feels strong though. Oh dear. No confidence in the rain though. I got no grip. Whoa, whoa, don't hit me. Oh. Practice session 2. I just want some grip. I've got no grip. Ooh, ooh. I'm so rubbish in the rain these days. I used to be good in the rain. What's happened to me? It's practice session 4. This is practice 5. Ooh, no grip. No really grip. Whoa. I got no real grip all of a sudden though. Kart felt really nice the last race. Feels horrible now. Whoa. My rear feels horrible. My rear is really snappy. Engine feels great though.
And with that, practice was done. We'd learned that what I need to do is to go lower on the gearing to make sure the engine is in the correct power band, and also go higher on the pressures. This unlocked the engine's performance. However, despite that, the kart was still handling like a greased pig, and it was costing us heaps of time. We wouldn't find out why this was until tomorrow. What we'll do now is go catch up with Perico after his first full day in an owner kart. Had your first go in an owner kart. Unfortunately, you've had your first go in an owner kart in the worst impossible conditions, rain on a known to be greasy track, on tyres you've never driven before, in a cart you've never driven before, in a field full of nutcases.
Yes.
How'd you do?
I spun about 10 times. I hit the rear right on a barrier. I'm trying everything I can, but apparently I was a bit too aggressive on the throttle, so...
These are actually worse in the wet than a rental is.
That's the problem. Like, not only is this my first owner car experience, it's like pretty much my first proper wet experience. So I am literally in the deep end here.
You'll be fine.
No pun intended.
So, I have a little submission this weekend, is to get a whole bunch of these precision stickers on as many carts as I possibly can in the paddock this weekend.
There we are, my heat 1, race 2 of the day. I got a call from Tornado and he told me to come down a tooth on my sprocket. Whoa, Oscar spun.
So as we head up to turn 1 for the first time, I'm going to push Russell Ending as far forward as I possibly can because I want him up the inside of this number 96 kart, as it works for Russell but it doesn't work for me. I wash out wide and I end up losing a place to Oscar, who regained his place after spinning on the warm-up lap. But yeah, lose a few more places. I've got Ollie next to me who gets a little bit of a wiggle on. But yeah, so that actually hasn't gone actually very well for me. I've lost a bunch of places. There's somebody else up the inside of me. I think that's the number 23 of Kyle Walker. But as I come out of the hairpin, I get a crazy bit of waft, which is also helped to my wonderful Tornado engine. Keep watching the video. I'll give you a discount code at the end of this. Whoa! Through comes Matthew Glazebrook. I did see him coming. I was letting him go. I know how rapid Matthew Glazebrook had been all weekend in practice. So I was like, there is no point fighting with him. He went off to go and be on the front row of the A final. So it gives you an idea of just how good a weekend Matthew Glazebrook had. So as we come through to start lap 2, I've now got a little bit of air. I can watch what's going on alongside me. However, I get a little bit of a nudge from the rear. That is Kyle Walker, Kyle Walker was a bit of a feature this weekend all the way through practice for me. We had some great little battles. As you can see, I'm wide through here because I think Kyle is up the inside of me. Oh, it's not Kyle, it's Matthew Roberts, who's always trying to find his way sneaking up the inside of me. We'll see a few times of him. Oh, and there's Kyle, but just giving me a little nudge off the circuit. But no, me and Kyle had a great little battle because Kyle was going much higher on his tyre pressures, so he got a better start in the races. And then as my tyres started to come up to temperature and his started to overheat, we then converge later in the race. As we go past that cart there of Mr. Warren, sorry Mr. Warren, I can't remember your first name, we roll on a little bit. And I'm still looking at the back of Kyle's car, who we are now also catching up on Joe. We want to try and get past Joe as quickly as possible. It looks like he's struggling a little bit for pace as Kyle gets a better run on him out of the final corner and gets a good drag up to turn 1 as we look at having a go at Joe. And I have an absolute lunge down the middle, take all the track on the inside, a little bit too much, which is why I get a bad exit, and Joe is still able to hang around the outside. He gives me the room. We go side by side through the double right hander, but that is him dispatched, and now I can go and fight and try and go and catch Kyle. As we roll on a lap or two, I have lost a little bit of ground to Kyle, but Kyle has a massive lunge at George Streetley, pushing George a little bit wide and slowing them both down. I get a good run. I have a think about going around the outside, but it's never really good to go around the outside. He runs a little bit wide coming through the exit of the corner. I take a tighter line. All I'm trying to do is maximise my entry to the final corner to get a good run, but Kyle has really good speed down this back straight. As we come into turn 1, I carry a lot of speed through, but he actually manages to carry more speed through there than me, so I'm going to have to think about how I'm going to get past him, because I'm not going to do this on speed. I think what happens in these karts is when you go for high pressures, you get less rolling resistance, which massively benefits your straight line speed. As we come through the chicane, the hairpin there, he gets a little bit slowed. I have to touch the back of his rear bumper, but it loses me the cart length and a half as we head through to the final part of the circuit. I'm having a look at every single opportunity to try and have a go at him here, because I am actually quicker now at this point of the race, and I just want to get past and try and go after the guys in front. You can see him struggling with the rear through those fast corners now as his tyres start to overheat because he's got too much pressure in them. But because he's got a lot of pressure and no rolling resistance, he gets a really good run out of the last corner, so I'm not going to get him there. But as you can see, under braking, I do close a little bit. He gains a little bit on the exit. How am I going to get past him? Now, what I do tend to notice, he's not that quick through this double right-hander. I do always seem to gain a whole bunch of time on him. So I have a look for the inside here. I probably could have sent it and might have actually made the move stick. We definitely wouldn't have had contact. I may have just sweeped on past him and he might have undercut me, but maybe I should have had the bravery to undercut the inside him. Anyway, we roll on another lap and we come through the first corner again, and I actually get a much better exit, and I want to have a go at him here. And knowing he's going to run a little bit wide, I cut as tight as I can to the inside, sweep down the inside through the first part of the apex, and I nail him on the second part of the apex. Past upper place, very happy with myself with that move, and off to the end of the race. Right, so we're going out for dinner now, but I didn't get to do my post-race video. That race went well, it was fine. I got mugged a bit at the start. I think people are running much higher pressures than me at the start of races. Hello, Tom Andrew. I think it's costing me at the starts, so I'm going to have to bump my tyres up a little bit. I've been told by the guys at Tornado that I need to go down a tooth on my sprocket to get the engine more in the rev range, so we're going to go do that as well. So for the race tomorrow morning, we will hopefully go even further forward. But now we're going for dinner, aren't we?
Alex is taking me to dinner.
Dinner and a beer.
Beer.
We're all just walking down the street, off to go have dinner. It's cold. Ross nearly got killed by a bus.
At any point, are you going to stop shining that light in my face?
No, because if I turn the light off, you can't see us. But it's my new favourite light. It's brilliant.
He's got a police one.
Hang on. Where's the police one? Russell's a police car. Nino.
Heads down, lads.
Neil Buchanan is joining us for dinner.
This is an art attack.
Tom Angier, the bushwhacker. Off to go watch F1 in the room, and Russell's coming to join us.
Lando Norris is on pole position.
I want to be in the video.
And when we got to the track Sunday morning, Perico was already receiving some coaching from professional driver coach Bradley Philpott.
It would like step out a little bit, but I can control it.
Ideally, we want to make it so that you're not having to control it.
So, race 2. Let's go racing.
So as we head up turn 1, I'm right behind Tyler Nicholson and I plan to do the exact same thing to him that I did to Russell, which is try and push him into turn 1. But however, Damien has other plans, has to escape to the infield, apparently got shoved from behind, spins across the middle of the track, gives me a big whack. I lose 3 positions and I'm now down behind Ashley King, who again has not decided to do the full weekend and is really out of practice because he went off to go and do some Daytona thing. So Ash has turned up. His engine has been disqualified from the event. We'll get back to that later. So now I've dropped behind Ronnie and I have dropped behind Ashley King, 2 very fast drivers who are going to be a pain in the backside to get past. As we have a very late braking situation into that corner, and Luke Tomlinson comes diving up the inside as somehow Tyler has found himself on the outside of this corner. He's lost 3 places in the space of 2 corners. He gets a little bit wiggly and I go around the outside of him through the final corner and then take the inside for the kink leading up to the final to the start finish line. Feels opportunistic as Ashley runs a little bit wide. Luke goes up the inside into the fast left kink and takes the position from Ash. I am still now stuck behind Ash and I really want to get past. I could take a very wide line into the final corner, still miss the apex somehow, but I guess that's because my rear is over the place and I am just trying to get along while Luke is making great progress. He's already slid himself up the inside of Ronnie, but Ronnie fights back, so Luke cuts back to get him as I cut back on Ash. Me and Luke both seem to have the exact same tactic. I am now up the inside of Ash and Luke is out wide, so I have an absolute lunge into turn 1. A huge send because I knew that Luke wasn't going to turn in, so I knew I had the gap to make do, and now I'm behind old rival Ronnie Peckerin as the no grip counter makes a reappearance. There's going to be a few of those in this race. as I'm following Ronnie, as Ronnie is having a look to have a lunge on Ollie, as he has a lunge on Ollie. I'm too busy watching that and don't notice that Luke has had a massive lunge on me again into that corner. I have a massive issue with that corner. Every single race I seem to lose a place into that corner. I'm taking too wide a line as we all go past Ollie. Ollie is still just about the inside of me, but I think I've got a better run out the corner, and poor Ollie loses out 3 corners in that final sector of the lap. So now I have to try and get past Luke again and try and catch up to the back of Ronnie as the rear steps out of the kart yet again. As Luke has now dragged up the inside of Ronnie into the double right-hander, that is Ronnie down a place and Luke up a place. I want to get past Ronnie as quickly as possible. I do seem to have a little bit more pace this phase of the weekend, and I'd like to get past him to go and chase after Luke. However, Ronnie does like to fight me quite hard, as we have battled all season long. We know each other's tricks, and we therefore don't want either of us to get the better of the other. As I have a think about having a lunge down the inside, but Ronnie is a little bit too far ahead. I want to try and do this with as little contact as possible, because, well, we do have a little bit of history, but let's not dwell on that right now. As I come out the final corner, I get a good run, picking up the slipstream as we head into turn 1. Oh, he's a little bit slower than me into turn 1. I give him a little bit of a nudge up the rear, so that completely negates the whole no contact thing as we come through the double right-hander. Again, I carry a little bit more speed. I go a little bit tighter on that second apex, which gives me a little bit of more speed. But as we come into that double right-hander, I've got no grip. There's the counter again, as we end up going to chase Ronnie a little bit more. However, here to spoil the party as I go too wide on the entry is Mr. Matthew Roberts. He forces me a little bit wide. Not his fault. I left too much of a gap. He drove straight through it. And as I say, I keep getting done in that corner. I think I take too wide. There's the counter again. I keep taking too wide an entry to get a better exit, and I guess it just leaves me very susceptible to a lunge. But I think if I take it any tighter, I can't control the rear. So it's one of those things that having this rear issue was really costing me throughout this weekend. Anyway, back to the action as Matty Roberts goes and has a massive lunge up the inside of Ronnie into the infield hairpin. That's the thing I just haven't had the bravery to do, is just actually have a massive send on someone and just hope it sticks. I'm always a little bit too worried of contact after what happened between me and Dom last year. So, I am now back again on the rear of Ronnie. I just want to get past him. He has been my nemesis all season, but despite being my nemesis all season, we have had some absolutely stellar racing. Full of respect, and that's one of the things that I do love about racing people in this series. Nobody wants to really break their karts, so everybody kind of drives very respectfully, which makes life nice and easy as I take way too much curb on the entry there, which again cost me a whole bunch of time. So as we come into the penultimate corner, I take a tighter line on the exit to give myself a better run through the last corner. Ronnie has realised this as I get really close to him, so Ronnie goes super defensive and white lines it on the inside of the circuit. I have to sweep to the left to get a better run through turn 1 and get an undercut on him, and it actually worked. I managed to get a run on him down into the double right-hander. Through the first apex, we are side by side. Through the second apex, we are still side by side. I leave Ronnie the room on the exit of the corner as we then head into the hairpin, but again he is tight. I managed to actually drag him and we are both jumping forward in our seats, trying to move forward, trying to get the speed, but unfortunately I have the pace on him. I take him through the left-hander and I am through. Also, I think, because he then launches it up the inside. We come through there side by side, but I don't think he quite gets the run out of there that is possible. I managed to open up the corner, but I have a massive sweep coming through. But I managed to stay ahead, and I managed to get out of the last corner really well and drag off to the end.
That was hard work.
Right, well, that was chaotic. So that race went quite well, despite Damien being up the inside. Apparently he was nowhere near me and he got absolutely hoofed into turn 1. Luckily no damage to kart parts from that. However, what I did notice was a massive crack in my chassis. 3/4 of the way round the bar that runs underneath the engine. So that might explain why I had no rear grip in that race. But thanks again to the excellent Dom at KDS, we've got it welded and fixed, and we are on the grid, well, about to be on the grid for the next race. So wish me luck. We're starting P7. Let's go and make sure we guarantee our A final.
Final heat of the day. As you've seen, we had a cracked chassis. I don't know how long it's been cracked for or been cracking, but in the last heat we had no rear grip. Hopefully this should fix it and might send me forward. Or on the other side. Race ready, go!
So as we roll up for lap 1, I am right behind my garage buddy for this weekend, Nick Barnes, and my aim is to follow him through turn 1. He gets a little bit of a slide on. I managed to go a little bit tighter through turn 1 and get alongside him. I now have Ethan in front of me and Dan Howarth over to the left hand side. I can aim to follow Ethan. He's a local here, he knows this place really well, so I just want to try and tuck in and move forward. As we come into the infield hairpin, I get a little bit of a swapper on, goes sideways, and it gives Dan Howarth the opportunity to come alongside me. Dan will be very keen to get past me, but I know I don't want to fight with him. I want to get after Ethan, so I managed to sling it around the outside of Dan Howarth and then into the downhill right-hander. I get a little bit squirrely on the entry, but I do manage to carry decent speed and give myself a little bit of breathing room from Dan, while also going after Ethan. As we roll on a lap, I haven't managed to get myself any closer to Ethan, but who has managed to get himself closer to me is Oscar, who's managed to launch it down the inside of me into that corner again, where I just keep letting people pass me. Oscar then sort of signals to go forward and go and chase everybody. I'm like, yeah, I know. Anyway, as we move forward a little bit further, I've caught up with the number 83 kart. We go down the inside of him as we are still trying to keep up with Oscar, but Oscar has managed to pull away from everybody else and already got ahead of Ethan. So let's see if we can go and catch Ethan now that Oscar is past him. As we roll on a few laps, and yes, we have managed to catch Ethan. We are up to the back of him, and now let's see if we can get past him. The problem we've got here is I am at this stage of the race a little bit quicker than Ethan. Ethan, I know, will always fight me very hard, cleanly, but will always fight me very hard. The problem is I know there are some karts behind us who are particularly quick, who if we fight too much, they will catch us. So I am trying to egg Ethan on to maybe let me through or not fight so hard so that we actually don't get caught and potentially passed by the karts behind us. So as we roll on a little bit further, I have a look up the inside of Ethan into turn 1, but I'm not quite close enough to even think about making it stick. But I do get a good run out of here, so maybe I can have a look into the right-hander. I can't quite get the double apex right, so no, I don't manage to get past Ethan just there. I do notice that they are starting to catch behind us. There is a little gaggle of karts, and because me and Ethan are fighting, they are gaining. I don't get a really good exit through that infield hairpin, as it has been a bugbear of mine all weekend, and I've lost a little bit of time to Ethan. And again, you can just see me struggling with rear grip as I cannot get through that corner without sliding. As I roll on a little bit, I have managed to catch up to the back of Ethan. However, the person who has also managed to catch me and is launching it down the inside is my roomie, Tom Angier, with a very brave move up the inside of me. However, I get a better run on the exit and I am down the inside into turn 1. All of this is great for Ethan. It is giving him plenty of breathing room as I leave Tom room on the outside. We go side by side through the double right-hander. I leave him space on the exit, or I don't because I must have been past him. I go into the infield hairpin, and again I have managed to fight off the charging Tom Angier at this precise moment, and hopefully I can defend from him for longer. As we roll on another lap or two, I have caught back to the back of Ethan after me and Tom were fighting. However, Tom has got a massive run out of the last corner and is dragging up behind me. I don't think he's actually going to get me into turn 1, but he actually somehow manages to. And I'm like, God, what am I supposed to do with that? I try to undercut back across him, but he's got too much speed. He had really good launch off of that corner. Every time I saw him, he was able to just pull away and drag off. So I'm now not going to fight him. I want to try and get Ethan as well. So what I'm going to try and do is hold on to the back of Tom and see if we can get to the back of Ethan, and we can wait to the final lap to fight it out a little bit more. Now, as Tom edges ever closer to Ethan, Ethan seems to make a little mistake off the back of that fast right-hander at turn 1, and Tom manages to swing along the inside of him. I try to follow him through, but Ethan cuts me off. So Tom has managed to make up the position, but I am now stuck behind Ethan, and this is the last lap. Ethan has gone super defensive. I try to undercut him into the hairpin, but he manages to get a better run through, so I'm not able to undercut him. And I'm now just trying to have a look and poke my nose around. I think about having a lunge down here, but I'm just a little bit too far away. I would never get through there without any contact, so we have to try and figure out if we can do it in these last 2 corners. And it is the last 2 corners because this is the final lap, and as Ethan again takes a very tight line, but he takes that tight line, I am not going to get to overtake him there, and there is no way, even with my wonderful engine, that I'm going to be able to outdrag him before the final.
That was fun, but it was hard. Still got no rear grip though. It's like mid-corner. Get loads of mid-corners. It's now fine going in. Get loads of mid-corner snapping. How do I fix that?
So that race was good. It was good fun, had a good battle. I'm still getting snapping in the high speed corners, so I need to go and fix that. That should have me in the final, in the A final. So I had a P10, a P11 and a P7. If I'm in the top 10, that'd be really nice. So let's go and have a good final. See you there. Before we move on, let's go check in.
You've done your first 3 heats.
Yes.
Give us a rundown how it's gone.
Okay, heat 1 was a bit of a disaster because I got into an accident, washed out wide onto the paint, just sort of washed into a barrier, head on, caused damage to the car. They jury-rigged a quick 25-minute fix, went out there again. Pace was strong in the second heat, but I spun. Before I went out for heat 5, lowered the tyre pressures down to 13 because I remembered that was what did me well last time, and I think I just came 4th in the novice class. So
good, lads. I think the improvement I've seen on you over the course of this weekend has been excellent. So yeah. Good job. So you have finally finished your first weekend of owner karting.
I definitely want to do it again. I think I had a difficult start to the weekend because I was completely out of my depth. Because 1, it was absolutely slatting it down, and I've never driven in the wet before. And 2, even though this is a 4-stroke GX 200, it's a lot different to the ones I'm used to, and it did take me by surprise. I was definitely starting to get into it because, like, by the end of the last heat, I'm messing about with my tyre pressures because it's like, well, I remember 13 worked best. I qualified 21st out of 26th in the B final and clawed that up to 10th, so I think that's a pretty reasonable.
That's an awesome job. And listen, we want you back. Come back, get your own cart, and we can go again. Or if Seb, who lent you the cart, is happy to let you borrow it again.
I mean, more than happy to do that.
Brad Philpott was taken out of the results yesterday after a technical discrepancy. But our qualifiers to the A final will be Brad Philpott, Lennox Ferguson Walker, James Burgess, Bobby McGurk.
Fellow B final winner Brad Philpott. How'd you
won a B final?
I've won a B final. Oh, nice. Yeah. When I beat Ronnie, remember? When you thought he had me.
Yeah, I remember when you fired.
So yeah, because you spent the whole weekend cheating, you're now in the you got in the B final.
Look, if you can't do a bit of cheating for the content, then what are we doing here? Yeah, now I'm legal. I'm exactly the same pace, but just in a B final instead of an A final. But now it's the A final. The kart's ready for the wet.
Until it dries up again.
I suck in the wet though, so that doesn't help.
Yeah, I suck in the wet too. Come on.
Yep.
And the dry. Let's go.
Thanks for watching Alex's videos. You're his only viewer.
Thanks.
Well, here we are. We are back in the A final. It's been a good day. It has definitely proved that my engine was causing me a lot of jip, and this new Tornado engine has really, really helped me go forward. It just means every little bit of oversteer, every slight mistake, it can just pull me away from it. It's such a difference. If you are considering getting a new engine for next season, give Tornado at Right House a shout. Tell them I sent you, and I'm certain they'll look after you. All the parts from Precision that they gave me have all worked really, really beautifully. The threaded sprocket carrier that they gave me has just been such a godsend when it comes to changing sprockets, which I have done a lot this weekend. Go to Precision's website, which will be on screen. Put in the code AlexVanGene, you get 10% off at checkout. So go and do that. Right, a final time. Let's go.
But first, to keep warm, the grid do a rendition of the YMCA.
Everyone's doing the YMCA.
Alright, enough of that. Let's go racing. So, as we accelerate away, my worries have manifested immediately as I slide wide before we even get to turn 1. As we get to turn 1, we put our eyes forward to the guys going through turn 1. Matty gets a little bit of a slide on, hits around Oscar, who also hits around Phil. So that's 2 of the top contenders already spun and towards the back of the field. As I have number 57 of either not Adam or not Sam down the inside of me, and then Harvey around the outside of me, I'm really starting to struggle. Basically, what happened was I went with 18 psi on my pressures, when it seems like all the boys at the front went with about 10 psi more. I know that's what Brad went with, as I ran wide again going through there, just trying not to slide the car around. And I'm just hunting around for grip. I've never really driven these karts in these conditions. I have no idea where the grip is. I'm not very happy in these conditions. You know, I used to be good in these in rental karts, but I'm just not in these. As Russell comes back through me after getting tangled up in that first lap incident, I've lost a whole bunch of places. And this race is really just going to go from bad to worse for me. And by the time I figure it out, it was far too late. So as we've rolled on a little bit, you see Russell and Ash getting into each other a little bit there. Ash comes off a little bit worse, covers the inside. I have nowhere to go but to the outside. I look to cut across the inside. However, there is a cart alongside me. It is Brad Philpott. Brad Philpott, who started basically last in this race, 2.5 laps in, is all of a sudden in the top 10. Unbelievable performance. As I say, he has come from miles away. As you can see, Brad is just pulling away and pulling away. He was one of the people that went on the very high pressures and got himself ahead. As we see, Luke Tomlinson had a big crash down the straight. He tried to do a bit of a Scandi flick into turn 1, got it very wrong and smashed into the wall and bent his axle. So that was Luke out of that race, as Brad makes a move forward on Ash, and Brad will continue to move forward.
I knew Brad would be really good in these conditions.
While I will continue to be a little bit slow. Then as we come into the penultimate corner, I take a little line around there. All of a sudden Harvey is facing the wrong way, not entirely certain what happened there. But then as I go to turn in for the penultimate corner, Matt Davies, who also was way at the back, has come flying through the field and is also being rapid. There's a lot of the guys here who've done a lot of pro kart racing, and they all seem to be absolutely awesome in the wet, unlike me, who seemingly right now is not having a fun time. And as we roll on a few corners, Matt comes lunging up the inside of me into the fast left-hander. He is still there on the outside of me, so I give him the room. There's not much point me fighting him right now.
There's no point fighting with him, he's way quicker. He's come from the very back of the grid. Stunning performance from him and Brad.
And as I'm left there cursing my poor tyre pressure decision as Matt swirls away off into the distance. Who is coming to get me next? The answer comes very, very soon as he lunges down the inside of me. It is Mr. Harvey Still, who's recovered from his spin, got himself going again, and still overtaken me. My lord, this is going badly. My plan at this point was to just try and follow Harvey. You know, if Harvey can have a spin and still come back at me, he must be doing something right. So I just try and sort of match him, but my kart just will not do the things that other people's karts are doing. Maybe it's the cracked chassis being a problem, maybe it's the poor tyre pressures, maybe it's also the poor driver. A myriad of things that just aren't working very well for me. You can see Harvey's kart jacking really well there in the corners. Mine was not doing that. So yeah. But we got a good run out of there though, so maybe we are making some progress, and maybe we will all of a sudden go really fast and catch and overtake everybody. Maybe.
One of the things you've got to do in the wet is try different lines. So I try to go to the outside. However, I get onto the rumbles and I just have a little spin. I got in the power too early, turned too much, and then as I've done that, the whole field goes past me. I don't have an opportunity to get back on the track with everybody there, and I have to wait for everyone to go past me.
Just went on me. Well. Oh, I was doing so well. I was just starting to figure it out.
But you didn't, and you binned it all on your own, you utter pillock. Anyway, however, the race wasn't entirely over. So let's skip forward a few laps to see if I can gain a few more places. So, a number of laps later, I have caught up to this gaggle of karts in front, and let's see what we can do. However, we notice on the side of the track is Mr. Anthony Casellis, who absolutely spun it coming out the final corner, like I nearly did at the start of the race, and unfortunately that sent him to the back of the grid. So, my aim now is to just try and catch these guys in front, to try and get a little bit closer, to try and regain a tiny bit of pride after the absolute disaster as number 16, which is I think Lennox, who ran a little bit wide through there. So my aim is to try and catch and pass Lennox. Let's see if I can manage it. As we come into the fast left-hander where I had my accident, I managed to carry a lot of speed through there. I'm in the middle of the track where it seems to be very grippy, and I get a really good run on Lennox into this corner, but I'm not quite brave enough to have a throw down the inside there. So it's a case of waiting out and trying to find the perfect opportunity to throw one up the inside and maybe get through. There's no grip there. I run a little bit deep and lose a whole bunch of the time that I gained up, but I gain it all back on the exit, so it's not all lost. There is still an opportunity here for me to catch back up to Lennox, but because I ran wide on the exit there, I then lose a couple of kart lengths. Got to do all the catching up again, but the good thing about racing in the wet is you can actually catch up with people hand over fist if they take a slightly different line to what you take. But Lennox is doing an absolutely fantastic job and holding me at bay without too much bother. As you see, the two karts in front fighting over the same piece of tarmac, and they managed to sort it out. I'm waiting for some carnage to happen so that I can do something. Lennox goes really wide on the exit of the corner there. I have my opportunity. As I go up the inside, I sling it up the inside. I run a little bit wide. I think I just clipped the rear of him. He nearly loses it. I don't think it was because I touched him. I think it's just because of the way the angle his kart was going at. But that was my big opportunity to try and get past. I did not manage to make it work. Maybe there is another opportunity coming up here into the final corner as I sling it at him, but no, there is nothing to be had there, unfortunately, as I think this is now the last lap or coming into the last lap, and I am just not close enough to take advantage and gain any more positions.
Oh, what a disaster. What a shame. Oh, what a shame. Totally and utterly threw it away. I'm sorry, everybody. I think Brad got on the frickin' podium. Wow. But yeah, I just have no confidence in those conditions. They're not my conditions. So yeah, anyway.
Alright, so that is that. Unfortunately we went out with a bit of a whimper, which was a shame because I'd actually had a really good weekend. I was kind of back to the pace that I should have been. I just don't have enough experience in those conditions, and it showed. So made one little mistake and it was all over. But there were positives out of that, being that I actually had the pace that I should have had, that I should have had the rest of the season. So again, thank you to Tornado for your excellent engine, and hopefully we can do something next season. And when it comes to next season, there is a struggle at the moment. So I have lost my sponsor for next year. They just can't support me anymore, which is a shame. So I need to look for some support. So to help me be able to get on the grid next year. So hopefully this isn't the end, but it might be. I'll be sad if it is, because this has been the best couple of years from a social standpoint that I've ever had. So I've really loved it. But anyway, I have to get back up now. But I will hopefully be doing another video quite soon, because hopefully we're going to do the O plate in a pro kart. Come to that soon. Anyway, thank you for watching. Love you, goodbye.
I just winked at you with my visor down.
Oh, there's stuff there.
Oh my god, YouTube.